Goeiedag, ik ben Peter van Horizon Select en ik interview vandaag Mahen Kariyawasan, voorzitter van SLAITO, de Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators. Hi, Mr. Mahen. I just introduced you to our viewers. I hope you are safe and sound in Sri Lanka.
Yes, sure. Yes, we are. So, do you want? Yeah. Okay. I'm here also in my capacity as president of the Sri Lanka Association of Inbound Tour Operators, and also a board member of Sri Lanka Tourism. Well, as far as tourism is concerned, we are at a complete standstill right now. 95% of the hotels are closed. We still have a few hotels that are running because there are a few tourists who refuse to go back, who prefer to stay here, including some Belgians. So we have, I think, about 30 to 40 Belgians as well in Sri Lanka at the moment. So we have a total of about 11,000 foreigners or tourists in the country for the moment. Other than that, everything is total lockdown. So we have a 24-hour curfew, and we cannot go outside unless it's really essential. The pharmacies are open. Of course, the hospitals are open. For the rest, all the food stuffs is brought online, and there comes trucks selling everything. Vegetables and groceries, everything you can buy staying at home.
Okay.
That's the situation at the moment.
Mm-hmm. But to start with the beginning, when did you first hear about COVID-19 or the coronavirus?
Well, I heard it somewhere in December, just after the WTM, that there was something like this happening. And also when I came up to Brussels in early February, I think we had some signs that this was coming up, but I guess at that time nobody really took it very seriously until sometime in the beginning of March, around the 10th or 11th of March. We had an issue because we have a lot of Sri Lankans living in Italy, and a lot of these Sri Lankans, the diaspora, they started coming back, and the Sri Lankan government got a bit worried that they could bring the virus in. So we stopped the airport somewhere around the 17th, 18th of March. We closed the airport. And then from that day onwards, we are in lockdown and curfew. So I must say the government is playing a pretty good role. So that is one of the reasons why the number of deaths still remain at 7. Of course, the last 48 hours, we have had a little bit of an increase in cases because some people in the Navy got infected. So we had about 100 of them. They were the Navy personnel who were taking care of some of the people who came back. So as a result, our figures went up to about 500. So it's still pretty low when you compare to other countries, I guess. So I must say, health authorities are doing a very good job. Together with the armed services, the Army, the police, and the Navy, they're also on the road. They also the Army is running most of the quarantine centers, let's say. So it's controlled by them, and which is very good for the moment. And even today, we have some students who are stuck in other neighboring countries like India, Pakistan, and so on. So Sri Lankan Airlines is operating some special flights to bring them back. And once they come back to Sri Lanka, they have to go for 21 days mandatory quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's a must. They will operate 2 flights next week out of London also to bring back some of the standard students, mainly the students who are outside.
So the country is in lockdown, I've heard. What kind of effect has this on people in general?
Well, it has a major effect because no one can go out, and we have police and army checkpoints around everywhere. So anyone who has only a curfew pass could go around for any urgent or essential service. Of course, people for example, in the medical business or the insurance business, they can travel, and the banking business, they could now travel with their ID card. So because that the government gives it a priority to keep everything going. The port is working for cargo. The rest, everything is at a standstill.
Yeah. And as you said earlier, there are not so many infected people and almost no death. Comparing in our country, we have something about 7,000 deaths, confirmed COVID-19 deaths. How do you think this has happened that you don't have so many infected people in Sri Lanka? Is the healthcare better, or were the measurements of the government better?
I think the healthcare and the measures that they took early action. So actually, thinking of it, if we had been about 4 or 5 days earlier, we would have had better results. So I think the government took very timely action to control it. So that is the main reason why everything remains slow at the moment.
And the lockdown, does it affect more people in the cities, or is it the same for everybody?
It's the same for everyone.
All right.
It's the same. Villages, they're very strict about it. And for example, if I'm on the street and for no reason they take me in, they send me for 14 days to an army camp for quarantine. So they're very strict about it.
Yeah,
so
stricter than here.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sri Lanka already has had its shares of crises in the past. You had a tsunami, and then last year the Easter bombing. Both times Sri Lanka recovered these disasters, but how do you see Sri Lanka recovering from this?
Well, this is different. In the last two instances, it was only Sri Lanka that was affected. So there was the rest of the world was supporting us. But in this case, our main customers are in Europe, and of course Europe and China, and both are affected. So I'm afraid this is going to take a long time for tourism to recover. I would say a good 1 year to at least come to the level of 2018. Where we did quite well with 2.3 million tourists that came into the country. So I think it will take a good 1 year to come back. But it also all depends on the vaccine or the measures that the other countries are going to take. Maybe we will have to come up with a kind of a health certificate or a health passport, like for sometimes when you visit countries in Africa, like we have a yellow book for yellow fever. So maybe we have to come up with something like that. Because it also depends on the airlines, how they plan to cope with it. So that's why I say it's, I think, going to take a long time to recover.
Yeah, they can't leave.
And I must say, yeah. Also, I must say that the government has come up with a good finance package for people who are affected by this. Also for the tourism industry as well. So we hope that most of our establishments will survive because especially the DMCs are very badly hit. We have around 200 members in our association, and about let's say 80% is from the SME sector. So these SME sector agents are going to be very badly hit. But with the help of Sri Lanka tourism and also the government, I think we will survive with the relief packages that we are getting.
Yeah, because there's no tourism, there's no money coming in. And
yes.
So at the national parks, are they affected by no tourism? I
Yes,
heard the story about not in Sri Lanka, but in another country, that there were more poachers because there was no tourists and there was not much control in the parks.
In our case, of course, the controls are still there. And on a positive note, what is happening is, like in Yala, you see plenty of leopards relaxing on the. We have seen very nice pictures of leopards just roaming around. Even in Norelia, near the Hotel Blackpool, they spotted three leopards 2 days ago. And you see elephants crossing the roads. Even closer to Colombo, we see some deer moving around on the streets. I mean, I think they all come out and I'll send you some photographs on WhatsApp. I mean, it's really nice. They're all coming out and they're looking, I guess, what's happening, because there are no people. So on a positive note, I think that is good. And Kandy is beautiful with all these cherry blossom trees blooming and no people, and everything is pink. I'll send you some pictures later.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Gullface, whereas it was green,
yes.
not brown anymore.
Yeah, it was green.
That's nature getting back at us.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So when this crisis is over, why should people go to Sri Lanka?
Well, I think still it's a value for money destination, and we have been very safe compared to other countries, I guess, and our precautions are very good. And I'm sure that even right now at the airport, we are taking a lot of precautions, a lot of testing. So I think it will be a safe country to visit, health-wise as well as the other aspects in the country as well. So I'm sure it's going to bounce back pretty well. Of course, it will be tough because we'll have a lot of competition, like from other countries like India, Vietnam. I mean, Vietnam has been excellent. They have 0 deaths at the moment. So we'll have a lot of competition in the region. But
Indonesia has no deaths also. They are death free, they say. Yeah, if travel comes back online for after this crisis, everybody wants a piece of the pie, and it will be
yes, yeah, it will be a tough go. So we are already planning out, thinking what we should do and how we should come back to see to get the best out of it.
Okay, so thank you for the talk and update. Hope to see you soon, and keep safe.
Yeah, you too. Stay safe. Thank you.